Hello, everybody. This is Dana with the Freedom Please channel. Today is the first installment of the Reflections series. I'm excited. I've received messages from people that are excited. And so let's get this thing going. So, the Reflections series, we all know that's the name, the Reflection series is really going to ask you all to consider, to reflect, to meditate on thoughts and different concepts, okay? And it's all to make our lives full and for us to be free to be authentically ourselves. And you know that's my thing. So for us to be free to be authentically ourselves and to love others and to love ourselves to our infinite potential. That's like I'm holding that pause where you ought to see that, to our infinite potential. The thing for you to know is that I'm going to try my best so that every week will grow from the week before, but that they will be standalone. So if this is the first time, you're good because this is the first one. But in the future, if you kind of come in at number 2 or 3, you'll still be fine. Okay? So today's topic is the lay of the land. And I always heard that and I understood what it meant. But that's what came to me for this title today. And here's why. We are about to start on this journey. And we have to understand the lay of the land. We have to understand the facts of the situation. We have to understand what's going on in our lives so that we can take this journey. So, for every one of our reflections, I'm going to try my best to have a quote as well as a Bible scripture. I will have it. I am probably going to also maybe do a blog post, so if you want to just read it, that you'll have it. But today I won't have it. I know that. It's been that one of those days. So we have to do blog only. So here we go. For our the quote, I found a quote and I thought, oh my goodness. And let me set us up here. I'm reading the Success Principles, and I thought I had it in here and I don't. And one of the things that he opens with is talking about taking 100% responsibility. And if you read the book, he goes on talking about, and I'm saying he because I can't think of Jack Canfield. I believe that's right. And he goes on and on about, all of your successes, all of your failures. Take 100% responsibility for them. And that today is what I was thinking when I thought, okay, let's look at the lay of the land. What's going on in our lives? What would we want to happen differently? We've just crossed this threshold of a new year. And so we are all kind of bubbling or chomping at the bit of what's next. Like, I want this year better than last year and so on. So the quote that I found is right where we need to be. So let's go here. People are where they are because that is exactly where they really want to be, whether they will admit it or not. I'm going to say that again. People are where they are because they are exactly where they really want to be, whether they will admit it or not. And that was Earl Nightingale. So, for you all today, we have to think about what is going on in our lives that we want differently. Whether it's our job, our children, our marriage, our business, ourselves, our body, our minds, our surroundings, our friends. We want to be more Christ-like. We want to love more. We want to love ourselves more. We want to keep things from repeating in our lives. We want to not pass down things to our children. So what do you want differently? What is the lay of the land in your life? You have to think about it. Because if we don't admit or don't kind of put some things down in our mind that we want differently, or I'm going to move this, you all. I'm trying to block the glare. But if we don't know that we want some things different or what things we want to change about ourselves, how can we change them? Because then we're just shooting in the dark. But if we know, hey, I want more energy. And I decide that. So, what do I need to do in my life to have more energy? Maybe I need to take a multivitamin. Maybe I need to drink more water. But the point is, options can become a reality because we've identified what it is that we want in our lives. So, the scripture, fell in love with this. Galatians 6 and 5. I'm going to read it in several different versions. Hey, I'm not even going to do a disclaimer on that one. Here we go. In the Message, I'm going to read it first. Each of you must take responsibility for doing the creative best you can with your own life. I'm going to read it in the NIV. For each one should carry his own load. I'm going to read it again in the NLT. For we are each responsible for our own conduct. So let's put this all together. In our quote, it says, we are exactly where we are because we want to be here. Now, this is the kicker on this whole thing. We may hate where we are. We may really dislike the whole situation. But it says we're exactly where we are because we want to be there. Now, this is what that means. It doesn't mean that because something happens or someone treats us this way or because I lost my job or whatever, that is my fault. I don't believe that's what that means. However, our response to those things, that's all me. That's all me. If I decide to lose my cool, blow up at my boss, I get fired. Okay, he may have been wrong, but I was wrong. And so in the end, right? And those are just examples. But the point is, we can choose how we respond. If we look at our lives as being, we have to take responsibility for how we live our lives, that we have to carry our own load, that we are responsible for our own conduct, then that means we are in control. We have the power, even when we feel like we're powerless. So, I will leave you with this quote before I give you our takeaway, right? I always like takeaways, like, right? You spend some time on this, you want a task or a takeaway, right? So, if the quotes in the Bible scripture was not enough, okay, but I want you to hear this one last thing. All you have to do is know where you're going. The answers will come to you of their own accord. That was also Earl Nightingale. So, all you have to do is know where you want to go. We don't have to know everything today. We don't have to have this master plan. Okay, Dana, I have the lay of the land. This sucks. Or, Dana, I have the lay of the land. I am happy, but I want to do more. Okay, Dana, I have this idea for a book, but I've never written a book. Fine. Fine, fine, fine. But here's the deal. We have to know where we're going. And then everything else will make its way. It'll happen. It will. Think about it. When you decide to do nothing, nothing happens. It will happen. Everything will keep going. People around you will dictate what is going on in your life. So it will happen. So for each of you today that is deciding to take this wonderful journey with me, I'm going to give you a task. The task for this week is a visualization. Now, I like doing these because I grew up in a certain surroundings where, certain things to me seemed off limits because of the environment that I was in. And so the way that I used to do my visualizations were based on books and magazines and reading, but that poured in a lot of good things to counteract what was going on around me or what was right before my eyes. So for each of you, I'm asking you to visualize. What would your life look like at that destination? We're getting the lay of the land. So that means you got to understand what's going on, what are the circumstances, all of that. But let's start looking to that place that we want to be. And so today, I want you to visualize today, tomorrow, this week before we get back together next week, Lord's will. And I want you to think about in that place, what does your day look like? And I want you to think about your full day from the time that you wake up to the time that you go to sleep. What are you going to eat? Who's around you? What is your spouse doing? What are your children doing? What are you doing with your time? How does your finances look? What do you drive? What does your vacation look like? What do you have on your to-do list? What does your calendar look like? All of that about that place, that time, that destination for you. If you're taking 100% responsibility, you are being responsible for your own conduct in your life, and it leads you to that place that you've always wanted to be or you wanted to experience in your life. What does it look like? And I want you to think about it. I mean, who are you interacting with? Who are you talking with? Who are your friends? All of that. And if you do this, you can start seeing not based upon what's the here and now. Because the truth is, this changes every second, every minute, every hour, every day. So I want you to go at this visualization with no limitations. The only barriers there are the ones that you put there. So don't put them there. People always say, well, throw things at the wall and see what sticks. I want you to just throw it at the wall. Don't care what sticks or what falls to the floor. Just throw it. Throw it. And let your mind go there. Let your heart go there. Let your passion go there. And that will be your first week of reflection. And here's an indication that you were on the right track. Because I know we have the tendency, okay, first thing, I want $1 million. I'm not saying $1 million is not cool. If you get $1 million, don't forget about the little people, share with your girl. But here's when you know you're on the right track. When you're thinking about it and you realize you're smiling, or your heart warms. Or me, I'll start, you get your groove in, or you start singing, or that's when you know you're on the right track. And another thing for me that I start realizing I'm on the right track is when I can start seeing how it's more than about me. Like other people around me will benefit, will grow, will have more success, prosperity, whatever you want to say. That's the feel good, fuzzy stuff that we don't want to be feel good and fuzzy anymore, but a reality. That's when we start seeing that we're on the right track. And so that's our first week. And if you want to take this task to the next level, do you? Do you want to take it to the next level? This is not going to be for everybody. This is going to be for the A students. That student that sits in the front row, in the middle seat every day of class. Write it down. Write that whole day down. It could be bullet points. It could be jotting. It could be a picture. I don't care. Do it. Do it. And this is for you. I will see you all again next week, Lord's will, for another reflection. I'm not even going to tell you what we're going to talk about. You have to wait and see. So week 1, the lay of the land. Take responsibility. We talked about Galatians 6 and 5. And then I'm going to leave you with this one little bonus. And hopefully we won't get cut off with our time. 2 Timothy verse 1, 7. And I'm going to read it in all the versions so you can find whatever one that works for you or just listen to me. That's your prerogative. God doesn't want us to be shy with his gifts. Be bold and loving and sensible. In the NAS, for God did not give us a spirit of timidity, but of power and love and discipline. The NLT, for God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but of power, love, and self-discipline. Listen, we're 15 minutes into this. You are here again because you're supposed to be 15 minutes into this. So, if we take 100% responsibility for our lives, we look at the lay of the land and say, here's where I am, but this is not where I'm going to be tomorrow. We visualize, looking with our hearts and our minds and our passions, our desires, of where we want our lives to go and to be. Know that God didn't give us these gifts just for ourselves. That we are supposed to be bold. We're supposed to be loving on others and loving on ourselves. And we're supposed to be sensible. And we're supposed to have self-discipline. And that's what taking responsibility is about. It's about, what do I need to do to make this happen? But you can't make it happen if you don't know where you're going. So take this task to heart. Think about it. Think about it. Make it look good. Make it feel good. And then write it down. That's it for me today. Have a fantastic day. I look forward to coming back again. Please, if this is for you, come back. Comment. Drop some lines in there and tell me if I'm on the right track. And even if I'm not, I'm going to keep rolling. Have a great day. And I'll talk to you all soon. Thank you. And goodbye.